So could you say something just to check the level?
Sure. Hi. How's it going? Pa 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 ta ta ta.
Yeah, that's good. So what's your name? What's your game?
My name is Andree Boutin. The game I'm showing right now is Children of Zodiacs, which is a tactical RPG with collectible cards and dice.
What were kind of the main influences for the game?
Well, definitely the TRPGs of old, so everything kind of PS1 era. I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics jumps to mind immediately, Fire Emblem, stuff like that. Although I do like to call this one a Tactics Lite, because those games used to be kind of bigger, wider scope game with a ton of features.
Yeah.
We're kind of packaging it in a smaller kind of scope, but it's definitely a love letter to these kinds of games.
But you have, not only each character has their own card deck, they also roll dice and you re-roll, so it's about as complicated as like a board game or something.
That's it. There is a level of complexity that is definitely, like the customizations that people are used to do in those games with, jobs, character class, party building, and stuff like that. That's not something that you'll find in Children of Zodiacs, but it's incarnated through the deck building and the card craft, the deck building and the dice crafting. Sorry. So instead of choosing a character of a certain class, for example, I have a character who's a rogue. She has cards that allow her to quickly, like melee attacks, short range attacks, and things like that. But if I have my big tank with me, I'll kind of balance her deck in a way that maybe she'll have more healing cards, more buffs, and things like that. I can actually change the way she behaves. So through those mechanics, we're able to kind of recapture a lot of the core experience of those games.
So you have just kind of a standard party that you manage? Is that what you meant by? Because you were saying like you took.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. There's 8 playable characters in the games. 4 of them are kind of guest characters that will show up sometimes. You don't really get to customize them. They're more to kind of like change things around a little bit, like show you different combinations that can be fun. But there's about 4 characters for which you will manage their decks. They have different cards. You will also manage their dice. So they'll be looting dice that are dedicated for each characters. You can equip them. You can also craft them and change them. So you're really like adapting the gear of your character, which is the cards and the dice.
So would you say you focus more on the kind of combat side? Like, is that kind of like how you're able to make a lighter version is kind of doubling down on the combat and then leaving the party management stuff to kind of...
Yeah, exactly, and adapting the party management in a different way, which is a little bit more, board game inspired, but definitely the combat is where the classic tactical gameplay is taking place, so you do have that unit positioning, things like that, but the combat is a big focus. Narrative is also somewhat of a focus because it's a single player narrative campaign type of thing, so there's also that aspect.
Well, what are your favorite dice-based board games? Or board games with dice in them?
Dice-based board games. That's a super good question. This is interesting because it's not. I'm not the creative director of the game, so like his influences in terms of, and he doesn't play that many dice-based board games.
Really? Because those dice are key to your game.
I know it's really interesting, but the board games that he did, it's super interesting because the kind of the backdrop of making this one is that when he came up with the concept for this game, he was of course missing the old TRPGs and such, but one of the games that he was playing a lot, he really didn't like it, but it kind of sparked that idea in him, which is I think it was Arkham Horror, because there was something about the way using the cards and kind of having this kind of thrill of saying like, ooh, what am I gonna get? Ooh, do I like that kind of gamble that you get of like using this, not really knowing what the game is gonna feed you back. Like he wanted to recapture this kind of little moment, and the dice kind of naturally also got into the mix because they're a good way to put what is a classic randomness that you find in TRPGs, but in your hands, and you be able to kind of control that.
When did the dice rolling I found, it was like unexpected, because normally in these games you do it and then you see like a % chance to hit and you kind of go. So when the dice popped up, I was very surprised to see that you like manually roll them.
Yeah.
When did that kind of come into play?
So I think that was from the start, and to better answer like your previous question in relation to this one, I think it's a big D&D thing as well, of like that little ritual that we have whenever we roll dice, and especially in RPG games, is really kind of the idea that they wanted to recapture with that of like everyone rolls differently, everyone has an intimate relationship with their dice. When you play D&D, your bad dice go to dice jail. There's you really kind of put a lot of like intimacy between that. So that was really there from the start. Although the dice are the things that changed the most during prototyping. They went from just simple numerical dice like you would find in an RPG, and then we added the symbols. We're like, yeah, that's way more fun. Yeah. And then the reroll happened, and then we're like, we got it now. Yeah, this is great.
My favorite dice board game is Roll for the Galaxy, which is based on like Race for the Galaxy, but replaced with dice. And I love just multi-sided dice, like dice that are not uniform.
Yes.
And being able to see that in your game, I thought was really cool. Just because seeing the chances kind of in physical form. So one thing you mentioned is that when you roll the dice into other dice, it can knock them and re-roll them.
Yeah.
Was that initially a bug that you thought was amazing and kept it, or was that like core to the... That's one of the wildest things I've seen in a tactical RPG.
That's super interesting. Actually, our creative director kind of just wildly appeared and might be able to answer that question if you want. But no, because that's a question I've actually never had, but I think he probably knows better than me. Like,
I can just transition.
Go right ahead.
Okay, what's your name, and did the dice bumping into the other dice and re-rolling originally a bug, or was it intended from the start?
My name's Jason, and the dice rolling, the bumping into the other, it was actually a worry brought up by the programmer. He's like, he wanted us to remove the dice from the dice that stay from the table, because then it's good. The dice are going to bump to other dice, but then players will want to actually use that. And he was kind of seeing it as it would be a feature that we need to actually build upon. But that kind of opened it up that actually sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try it out.
Do the dice have different weights?
So that was actually something that we wanted to play with, because I was reading about loaded dice and how those work, and I wanted to actually either make that a player control thing or have it be a dynamic thing, like a dynamic difficulty adjuster type of thing. Like if you're not doing enough damage or whatever, then we load the dice so that it'll be a higher number, just behind the scenes. But since we're symbol-based, we have no idea what you want. We have no idea what's good in your mind. So it just was in the system that worked.
Well, it's also weird because a lot of the times, I work on a tactical RPG myself.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I work on Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
And people get mad. People are like, I had a 95% chance to hit, why did I miss? Or why I had this thing, and why did this happen? Yeah. And I feel like actually physically rolling... because you're physically simulating the dice, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, that adds the randomness of how you move your hand, how the dice were picked up. It adds all this randomness that I feel like is more, acceptable to the player. Even though ultimately, you got certain dice and how many sides and there's chances and stuff. So have you had a lot of blowback about, RNG on your game?
Yes. It's more about the... just the idea of RNG. There's a lot of resistance against that, which, RNG's been part of the genre since forever, accuracy, procs, and all that kind of stuff. But with this, we're able to say that this is our method of mitigating that RNG. Not only are you being involved in it, that you feel like you're in control and everything, but we also allow that ability to pick up dice and then re-roll them. You have the ability to modify your dice by with buffs to add attack dice, or with you equip different dice onto your heroes, and so you can then weight them more towards damage or a card pickup, and then you can also craft the dice to change the symbols on them.
That's cool.
Yeah, no.
That's something that, and I think with tactical video games or party video games, there is that ability to do stuff that would be a pain in a board game, and I love when games explore that.
No, and that's a big genesis of the game. That's why it is a video game board game. Is because I'm playing a lot of board games. I love them, but especially when it's like a co-op game, it's such a reactionary experience. Like the game doesn't know what you're doing; it can't do anything in response to you. So it just does random stuff, and you react to it. But with I'm a game designer. I work in video games. What we can do is have AI that reacts to the player. So that would be the experience that I want. I want that tactile sensation. I want that element of surprise and tension of when you're rolling the dice and seeing what's going to come up, when you're drawing the cards and see it like oh, maybe you get something cool, maybe you don't. You got to make up a plan on the fly. I want all that surprise, but I want the game to react to me.
Yeah.
So that was where this whole game came from.
Did I asked your coworker this, but what's your favorite dice-based board game? She just said that you didn't like Arkham Horror, so. I
did not like Arkham Horror. And I love the mechanics in that thing. Yeah. Just you have so little agency. It's frustrating, and I love H.P. Lovecraft and everything.
Have you played Mountains of Madness? It's really cool.
No, yeah.
It's a game worth plugging. It's you have to do this very mundane thing of getting a certain amount of currencies together, but you end up you need 4 boxes and 2 guns and 3 food. But you end up all with these different madnesses that kind of accelerate, and stuff like you have to speak in an accent, you can't make eye contact, you can't say numbers, and you have to scream once in the middle of the thing. So it's kind of a improv almost game where you're kind of doing the madness thing, and it makes it just that much more complicated, even though the mechanics are pretty simple, and then you take turns kind of trying to. It's based on the stories you're trying to get off the mountain and stuff.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But no dice in that game.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your favorite dice game?
I would actually say
dice involved.
I would say that King of Tokyo is actually a really fun one.
Yeah. Favorite monster?
I've always been about giant lizards. I love Godzilla, Lizzie, and Rampage and everything. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with that.
Do you play the lizard guy in Soul Calibur?
Oh no! I hate that guy. Or in Killer Instincts.
Do you play Dinosaurs for Hire? Are dinosaurs lizards?
Reptiles? Aren't they? No, they're birds. I guess they're birds.
Yeah. What did you ever explore having a cup? Because my favorite board game, having a cup. You roll the dice in. Have you ever? Was that ever part of the prototyping and exploring of it?
So the idea was there, but we decided not to pursue it. One, because we have a limited budget, and the more stuff we can cut, kind of the better. And I wanted to not hide that feeling of the dice that and I find the sound of dice against dice rattling around a lot more satisfying than dice against cup. So it just kind of felt more in tune with the board the experience we're trying to get, but also I didn't want it to be. I wanted to make it more abstract from a physical board game. I didn't want it to feel like the cards and the dice were integrated into the game. I didn't want it to be diegetic. I wanted it to be this abstract layer, symbolism and all that kind of stuff, so that one, it'd feel more like a game, and two, that's why when the board, when your dice board comes out, it's this vague, frosted kind of blurred plane.
And I also think that seeing it's one of those things where you can't see the dice in your hand, can't see the dice in a cup, but if they're all floating around, you can see exactly what's happening. It's obviously fast and be hard to track, but have you had any Twitch players, mod community, any YouTube videos that have analyzed how screwed they got by this one dice and kind of track it and then watch it fall over and roll to the thing that lost the match? Have you had any in-depth analysis about that?
There's not too much. No, I don't think I've seen that. It's mostly the celebration of the surprise successes that have been coming out.
So what's the new game? Arcade side.
Dawn at Last. It's not a DLC for Children of Zodiacs. but I'm not super ready to talk about it yet.
That's fair. I just had to ask.
No worries.
She was talking to people, like, not about it, but like, oh yeah, we're showing something, we're talking to people about something new, so it's trying to get the scoop.
It's an action strategy game.
Okay.
Exploration, real time.
Yeah.
So it's not really anything like Chono Zodiacs.
Do you think it has the same? Because coworker was saying that it was like a love letter to a specific type of game from past console generations and stuff like that. Is it a similar thing like that where it's like built out of like a nostalgic inspiration?
This one, no, like this was the first one. It was like just get it on your system, you know?
Yeah.
Like the idea that's been in there, that love that's been in there for like decades and such. But this one, yeah, it is more of a like, all right, let's kind of like, what do we want to see? What kind of just pacing experience do we want to see? And it's in that vague sense, abstract sense, it has a lot of similarities to Chono Zodiacs. But yeah, it is genre-wise a very different game.
And what was kind of the team composition?
So we were 10 people total on at the peak of the game. There was there was me as creative director, but also handling business. We had our game designer who was doing levels, cutscenes,
Sculpted die.
Chiseling out a bone.
Yeah. Do you guys have any collector die? Like, how
no.
do you not have a collector's edition?
No,
There's a booth over there that does stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a Takeoff.
Yeah.
Creative. We've talked with them. But just
dice
we
are really
can't.
cheap to make. I went to a board game talk, and it's like dice are one of the cheap. Dice make no sense how cheap they are to make.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be. Because we need like custom dies.
Symbols.
Yeah, custom
that
symbols.
increases the price.
Yeah.
But like, for whatever reason, regular die. Without the custom symbols are cheaper than the plastic it costs to make them. I don't understand why.
I guess injection mold and everything. I don't know physical stuff.
You ever made
I know
a board game,
physical
or?
stuff. Oh man, like back in high school.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, no, not really.
Definitely.
Have you thought about bringing this as a board game?
The idea came like in the beginning, like, that'd be cool. It became a board game version. But then I kind of found that it was holding back the design of and really the full exploitation of a virtual board game, that I decided to just let it go. Like, all right, if something happens, we'll figure out a way to adapt it. I'm not worried. Let's focus too much. Like, just focus on the game.
Yeah. And what do you think are the hardest transitions you're going to have moving to a new game in a new genre?
Well, if one possible hurdle that I think is going to be there is transitioning your the fan base that you have now based on your first game. Hey, we made a tactical RPG with like a Japanese type of aesthetic and homage and stuff. Like, cool. What's your next game? It's a Tetris-style puzzle game. Like, oh, that's not for us. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, so that's where it's down to like that studio identity, I think, and what are those common elements that go to that carry on?
And some people, like, I've talked to some people, and they've said like I know the Behemoth is very much like, we want all of our games to be in different genres so they don't invalidate each other. Yeah. And stuff like that. And then there's other people that think like, oh, we should build off of, like, we should almost be a genre house to build up that stuff. So I think either way.
Well, and that super works for a Behemoth, I think, because Dan Paladin, thank you. Like his art style, like, no. That's him. Yeah. That's Behemoth. That game, I don't know what it is. I don't know who's doing it, but that's him again.
Yeah, because your art style really does, like, I feel like, evoke the genre.
Yeah, no, default. That's it. That was the intention of it, definitely. But like, you remember Treasure?
No.
They were
got a fox in it. Oh no, Treasure's company.
Yeah. They were a developer. This Gunstar Heroes, Guardian Heroes. Yeah. They do a lot of hero games apparently.
Yeah.
Ikaruga.
So you're not going to... Ikaruga's a hell.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have any of those words in your new game?
I don't think we will.
It's not going to be like a pixel junk thing? Or
No,
it's like,
yeah, pixel
it's always
monsters.
children of...
Children of guns.
Yeah.
Make it easier to find
For
stuff.
my, like, when I made an Xbox Live video game out of school, I wanted to do something like that, but I chose... I ended up working at another company, but I chose a symbol as a word, and that was a horrible idea. Like, it was like, I heart shift.
Oh, no.
And people would call it I love shift. And, like, I was like, no, this symbol is, like, messed up. Cool. Well, it's excited to see what you guys do next.
Oh, thanks,
I think this is sneakily, like, technically depth. Like, it doesn't... Like, walking by, it doesn't... That is deck and dice based is not super apparent.
Yeah.
So, like, getting into it, I was, like, very surprised by the kind of... And definitely want to check it out, because I have to learn everything. I have to learn everything from the start. I can't... Like, I hopped in with, like, dice, cool, different sided die, cool, deck, reroll. Okay, I'm in. Like, this is the type of board game I'd want to play, so...
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to plug? Or thanks for being on the question bus.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
What was happening.
I just thought you were holding something because it's important to you.
Yeah.
No, no problem. Not so much. I mean, other than follow us on Twitter,
Yes.
like at Cardboard Utopia, one word.
It's a good name.
Thank you. It's a reference to a North Korean village.
Okay. What's that village called? If people want to go?
I don't. Well, yeah, because it's such a hot spot for tourism.
North Korean village.
North Korea.
Yeah.
Kijangdong.
I can't. I don't think I can record podcasts in North Korea.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Journalists are one of the...
You can look at it across the DMZ from South Korea.
Okay.
Like, because it's a fake village.
Yeah.
It was meant to show prosperity and entice people to come over.
Oh, weird.
But it's like the people walking around, they were just like either cleaning crew or civilian dressed military. The lights turning on in it, like on and off in the buildings. The buildings have no glass in the windows. There's no furniture, no nothing. It's just the illusion of life. And like all these like 7-story tall apartment buildings and things like that. But it's a fake village.
So why a North Korean village so inspiring? Name a company after.
Just the idea is hilarious.
Okay.
This idea of a propaganda village. But also, it first came out as a joke, because like this idea of something that looks great on the outside, but is lacking everything on the inside, is lacking depth, and types of games like I've worked on of like very pretty, but just not really substance there. So in the irony point of view, it was like, ha, that's funny.
So you're making the games that city...
They're the opposite.
You're the opposite of the company.
Oh, the opposite.
You're making depth and beautiful.
Yes, that's it. That's the idea. And then we realized that it started working in other ways. Like, it's the idea of, Cardboard Utopia. It's like when you're a kid, you're building a fort. It's like... It's like you put so much passion and love into it, and you envision it as just something so grand and like an accomplishment. And then it also worked on the side of as indie devs, you kind of make the best thing you can out of the materials you have at hand.
And you do have to overshow.
No.
You have to oversell your game.
Let's come to now, but yeah.
Yeah, and when people buy into it, you feel like it re-embraces how you feel.
Yeah, no, and that's like. And like things having multiple meanings is just something that we love. Like Children of Zodiac, there's like I think there's 3 or 4 different ways that you can interpret that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you finish the game, buy it. Ha ha ha.
What?
I don't know.
You should, definitely check out the game.
Yeah. So it's out on Steam and for PC, Mac. It's out on Steam and GOG right now, and it's on PlayStation 4 right now as well.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.